Okay, this is your second test of the second 6 weeks review. This is about functions. This should be pretty simple. So on the first 9 problems, we're going to determine the domain and range and stated the relation is a function or not for each. So all you need to worry about is your input, and you have your output, and your input is called your domain, and your output's called your range. And if the domain repeats, then it's not a function. Okay, so on this one right here, we're going to write down domain. We're going to start a brace, and we're going to write down these numbers, which is -1, 1, 2, and 4. So -1, 1, 2, and 4. That's our domain. Our range is going to be our output. And our range is 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Now that if you look right here, the -1 is going here and it's going here at it. The -1 repeats, doesn't it? Since the -1 repeats, it's not a function. Not a function. Let's go to number 2. Okay, so number 2, I'm going to write down domain. I'm just going to put D for domain and R for range. I'm going to start a brace. And then this is my domain, and this is my range. And remember, the domain cannot repeat, can it? Sorry about this, I had to change pins. Okay, so our domain is going to be -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And our range is going to be what? -4. Hard to see these. 0, 1, 2, 6, 7. This is pretty simple stuff. And do any of the domains repeat? Each domain only has one arrow coming from it, so this is a function. I'm just going to check that it is a function. Right here, I'm going to write down D and R for domain and range. My domain is right here. It's what? 3, 2, 1, 0, -1, 2. I'm going to put it in order from the smallest to the largest. And my range is what? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Now then, do any of the x's repeat? Each x only has one arrow going from it. So this is a function. Okay, right here, this is our x comma y. Your domain is your x, your range is your y. So write down D and R. These are called mappings, by the way. These are called mappings. So if it tells you to create a map, that's a mapping. Okay, so right here, my domain is my x's. It's 5, 6, 7, and 8. You kind of want to put these in order from least to greatest. If a number repeats, you only write it down once. And my range is -3. It's just -3 in it. Okay, so no matter what my domain is, my range is -3. This is a function because the x does not repeat. Okay, right here, I got my domain, my range. Put a brace and a brace. My domain is -5, 3, 5, and -5. -5, 3, and 5. And I'm not going to write down the -5 twice, aren't I? The -5 repeats, so this is not going to be a function, is it? The range is -3, 3, -3. Okay, so I'm just going to put -3 and 3 for the range. And this is not a function. Okay, right here, my domain and my range. Okay, so my domain will be -1, 1, -3, 1. So I'm going to start with the smallest, -3. Then I'm going to use the -1. And notice that the 1 repeats, doesn't it? That means this is not a function, right? This is not going to be a hard test. Your range is -3, 3, -1, -3. So -3, -1, and 3 is my range. Okay, right here, my domain, I'm going to put it right here. My domain is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And my range is going to be -3, -2, so -3, -2, and 0. The x's do not repeat. This is a function, just to check. Okay, right here, my domain is -2, -1, 0, and I'm not going to write these are repeating, right? Since these are repeating, this is not going to be a function, is it? So my domain is -2, -1, and 0. My range would be what? -3, -2, 0, and 3. So -3, -2, 0, and 3. Try to put them in order and don't repeat them. This is not hard at all. My domain right here is -3. Or let's put the smallest one. The smallest one's -6. Then I got a -3. The -3's repeat, right? Not a function. Okay, and then 3 and 6, right? So this is my domain. My range is these numbers. It's just -6 and 6, right? This is not a function because the x's are repeating.